hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room. Welcome to the sound test room, everybody. Hi, hello to everybody who's here. Right, so here's the confusion. Right, I forgot to make the stream public until 10 minutes before we were due to stream. So that's why not many people knew about it beforehand, because I'm a dickhead. That's right. Hi, David. Hi, Wigles. Hello, Joe. Hi, Stephen. Anyone else who may be watching at a future date, hello, welcome to the sound test room. Today we are taking a look at SynthMaster 2. It's a programming guide tutorial, and it will be exploring maybe not so much patch design as kind of sound design, but using different types of synthesis that we have available to us in the superpowers of the KV331 Audio's SynthMaster 2. Now, here's the thing, right? The thing is, we're going to be looking at these things called modulators, not to be confused with LFOs or modulation. The modulators are completely different. Let me reset this now to, that was another one of our presets that we did in another live stream, but we're going to reset this now to an initial preset. And here it is. Right, so we have SynthMaster 2, we have two oscillators, but we have two layers. So it's two completely independent synthesizers, right, that we can blend together. So we have layer 1, which has two oscillators. We have layer 2. You'll see they look identical on an initial preset. But for instance, if we were to change the waveform here to this one, okay, up for layer 2, and we go back to layer 1, you'll see we're still on our sawtooth wave. So, and you'll also see that layer 2 is actually switched off. So as I switch layer 1 off now, we'll hear nothing until we switch that noise back on. And we put that back on a sine wave, but we'll turn layer 2 off for now, and then switch layer 1 back on. And layer 1 has two oscillators. Oscillator 1, which is this, and oscillator 2, which is identical. So, but again, what we can do is go with this, where it says sawtooth here, and choose, say, maybe a pulse wave. Now, if you choose a pulse wave and you play it, you won't hear anything at all until you adjust the phase. Okay, so there is oscillator 2, and there is oscillator 1, and I'll turn them both on. You can have an overall volume control, or you can have a blended control here between oscillator 1 and 2. Layers 1 and 2, sorry. I'm going to set that about there. Okay, so we'll turn oscillator 2 off on layer 1. And it's just this basic sawtooth wave. So we can scroll through, or we can just tap where it says there. And we can choose sine, triangle, square, sawtooth, or pulse, or noise. We can choose waveforms or samples, or let's just set this on back on a sawtooth. Or we can choose the type. Now, see, the type is basic. So all these waveforms that I've just showed you, let me see if I can turn this on. I don't know how much charge is in this. Might be all right though. Right. If we choose this sawtooth here, these waveforms here are like waveforms, and then samples. You can import samples or waveforms, which are like single cycle waveforms, etc. And there's a load of them already in here as well if we have a look. Also let's close that. And also a load of samples that we can use. But this is the basic engine. Okay, so the basic engine. So we're going to stick with sawtooth. We have different types of engines as well. We have basic, additive, wavetable, vector, and audio in, so you can pass audio through. Okay. Yes, we made it through. I would like to say hello to everyone who's here again at the so Rexcellence McGee, welcome. Wigles, of course, Kenny, and Wal. Yes, Wal, thank you very much. We did make it through okay. We're quite where we are, and it was like we're in a cul-de-sac, so we're kind of like a little bit sheltered. It's not so bad. It was very, very windy. It's a bit worrying when Joe had to go out. But yeah, So basic. So we're going to stick with basic just for the moment. Now, here's the thing. There is, if you notice here, if you go here, there's no FM or pulse modulation engine, but that doesn't mean that SynthMaster 2 can't do FM or pulse modulation. These are where the modulators come in, and you have 4 modulators. Now, like FM synthesis, it's very difficult to understand what modulators are doing before you actually start to hear them in action, and then you can shape the sound as you listen to them. So what we're going to do is the most important thing is go to routing first. Before you do anything else, go to routing, and you'll see we have oscillator 1, oscillator 2, filter 1, filter 2, and effects, and we're in series mode. Okay, series. So oscillator 1 and oscillator 2 are being mixed together to go into filter 1, and then filter 1 is passing into filter 2, and then is passing into the effects. But we can change the routing here where it says split or parallel. So parallel routing, where we've got oscillator 2 and oscillator 1 being summed together to go into filter 1 and filter 2, and then into the effects. Or we have split. My personal favorite is split because I like to control the separate oscillators through independent filters, filters 1 and 2. From this page also, you can also turn on and off various things. So keep an eye on this button here where it says oscillator 2, and I'm going to switch it on there. So it switches it on there. And also we can turn the filters on and the filters off, and the effects on and off as well. We have no effects switched on at the moment. It's blank, so that won't make any difference. But you can bypass the effects here. Layering is where you set up your keyboard splits and stuff. Basically control what the keyboard is doing. We've already done that. We can come back to it. That's some other points. Anyway, routing. Here's the key to routing at the bottom. So if we go back up here and we go, well, we're a modulator, so we're going to go look modulator 1. Oh, look, it's different, completely different. So modulator 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're all the same, but they're all changing. You can't see it because they're all set exactly the same because it's a default patch. But if we were to say go to modulator 2 and change that waveform, modulator 3, change it to that waveform, modulator 4, change it to say that waveform, which is a pulse. Then going back through the modulators, we will see. But this is where it gets really good fun. Oh, thanks, Stephen. Brilliant. Thank you, mate. We're going to set all these modulators back to a sine wave just for now. So I think that's a sine wave, is it not? Yes. So, oh, no, it's not. What is it? What the hell is this? I'm just going to set that back to a sine wave. Hang on. Sine. It was a sine wave. Anyway, so we've got these. Oh, because it's look, because I've set the phase off. So there we go, sine wave for all of these now again. So it's back. If I've got a modulator switched on, you'll also see the differences between the oscillator type. So oscillator type you have here, your type, your free, whether it's free running sort of thing, the voices, the algorithm. We'll leave it on low pass spectrum. There, do that, and close that again. Oops. Then you have amount of drift and speed of drift, and then you have key tracking, which is like closing or opening the filter as you go up and down the things. You have high cut phase teaching, because like you also have like it's a high cut, but it's a really nice, like a filter before we even filter anything. Really nice. But if I switch this modulator on now, we're not going to hear any difference because the routing is where it all happens down here. So below the routing page, we have oscillator information for oscillator 1, oscillator 2, and then mod 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so you can route modulators into modulators if you like, but just like you can with FM or pulse modulation. Phase modulation. I do apologize. Phase modulation. So we have FM and PM. So phase modulation and FM modulation. But we need to tell the modulation to do something. So you see where it says PM here, and you'll notice that if I open this, we can choose PM or FM. It will change here. Do it with your finger. So FM, it should have changed for FM there. That should have gone to FM. Oh well, doesn't matter. Neither here nor there really, but it's going to be. So I'm going to leave it on FM. I'm going to make sure that's on FM as well. And where it says now none, you can watch it. What happens with the routing. I know all this may be a touch on the boring side, but you know you'll understand it better if we go slow. Otherwise, we're going to. It's going to get too nuts. I'm going to go back to my sine wave there as well. So FM here on modulator 2, on modulator 1, sorry. And when it says none, I'm going to tap on this. And I'm going to choose to modulator. I'm going to choose modulator 1 for oscillator 1 in FM mode, okay? So now we have a different tone. So again, if we go to this and we take it off, that's why, by the way, I was on a different oscillator. I was on oscillator 2. This is oscillator 1. Watch what happens now. Go modulator 1. We're on FM. Going to change this to PM. I don't know why it's not changing. It should be changing, but anyway. But we've got none here now, so I'm going to go to modulator 1. And now modulator 1, this is controlling, is modulating this. Okay, so if we start to play with the pitch, or the offset, we're modulating now, you see, which is very cool. And changing the phase also gives us really nice sounds. Brilliant. So, and this is just using one modulator. So if we change this to PM now, it changes again, see? Different tone again. For phase modulation. Awesome stuff. So it gets be cool. We can also change the frequency. We can tap on, and in the modulator sections, we can tap on frequency. And we can go up in integers or semitones. And we can do this. We can just play a note and hear the difference as we play. So you can find one that you actually like. So if it was on none, it would just be the sawtooth wave. But let's choose 2. Okay, and or if we don't want to use an integer, we can use a semitone. Let's use a semitone instead. But then we can go back to keep it on that semitone. So now cool beans. So in the modulator section, playing with the pitch, offset, volume is very useful, because again, taking volume out is like switching it off. Basically, it's doing it, but it's not, you're not hearing it. So detuning or phasing or high cut now won't do a lot. We could use some drift, because we have drift on here as well. We also have an algorithm here. So low pass, we can This is for the modulator. Not going to hear a great deal of difference because we're going to need to change maybe the algorithm to bend plus. So at the moment, I'm starting to create a more mellow patch, something a bit more, but that would be impossible other than using the modulator. And don't forget, we're still on just one oscillator. So I'm phase modulating. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get don't Rexcellence McGee. That's a great name. I'm gonna get to the effects and stuff. Don't worry. So that's great. I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna mess around too much, but we could go into the oscillator and start messing with the pitch, the pan, the volume. We reset that to default. So I'm going to I'm going to use ADSR1, which is already pre-mapped to our volume. So we can leave it at that, so it's absolutely fine. Let's go back to our routing. And you'll see now, if you can see what's happening in the routing has changed. Modulator 1 mod 1 is modulated, oscillator 1 is going into filter 1 and then going into the effects. Oscillator 2 is passing directly into filter number 2. So if we were to turn off oscillator 1, turn on oscillator 2, go to oscillator 2, switch on the filter. Sorry, I've messed with filter 1 now. We can blend both of those together because oscillator 1 and oscillator 2 on layer 1 are going to be sharing the same ADSR for now. So together. So we're going to make it in the middle, making it like a keyboardy type sound now. Release. Now, what I like to do with SynthMaster 1 is there's certain things that I like to do split routing for most of the things that we make. I also like to use the ProFat, or it's one of them, the OB. Let's see, it's one that has the slight decay. It's the OB one. Here, I like the OB algorithm for the first ADSR. So now we're going to drive in some release. Turn the volume down a little bit for oscillator 1. And the filter. I'm going to slightly modulate the filter cutoff as well with an LFO in a sec. So before we add any reverb or effects and stuff, I need to hear what the LFO is going to do to the filter. So I'm going to use LFO 1 and I want to modulate filter 1 with LFO 1. But I don't want it to be bonkers modulated, you know what I mean? I don't want it going crazy. Well, first we have to assign it. A couple of ways we can do that in SynthMaster, very easy. We have 4 LFOs, 4 multi-segment LFOs, 4 sequences, 4 keyscalers, 4 ADSRs per layer. we can just either just pick it up like this and drag it around, and you'll see that certain controls are then highlighting. These would be the destinations. So we could use this frequency destination. If we let go now, the filter is now going to be controlled by LFO1. If I tap on this now and go remove modulation, it will show me all the list of modulations that I've got assigned here. I only have the one. I'm going to remove LFO1. And then the other way to do it is to tap on this, add modulation, go to LFOs, choose LFO1, and it's exactly the same thing. Now you might think, well, isn't it a lot quicker to just drag and drop it? It is, but sometimes things get so complex that it then becomes easier to just tap on it and go, oh well, I'm just gonna do it like that. I'm gonna drop in the pitch that way. So now, like I said, it's too much. So, and also, I really don't want it to be quite noticeable. Okay, so again, I think it's a bit loud, so we're going to turn the volume down. Just for the layer. And let's also, maybe we can go to filter 1 now and use another LFO to run this one at a slightly different speed. So that'd be quite nice. So if I long hold now, I'll go LFO2, got no targets. I'm going to pick LFO1, make sure I'm on filter 1. We know filter 2's got LFO1 controlling it, because we can see that there. Let's go back to filter 1, and we're on LFO2, and I'm going to just pick it up like that, and I'm just going to drop this LFO onto the free. Oh, I didn't think I did it. Hang on. Right. Again, it's too fast, but it's faster. Faster. It's faster than LFO1. Both of these are going to be triggered slightly differently as well, okay? At the moment, if you'll notice, every time I hit a key, it's re-triggering the LFO, and it will be doing that on LFO2 as well. It's not giving us a chance to hear the modulation over time if we're playing too quickly, because it's just resetting. If we go to trigger mode here that says poly, we'll go into this and we'll just go to global. Now what will happen, sorry, I'll take it off sync. What will happen is no matter how fast let's slow it down. No matter how many times I play a key or how fast, it's just going to continually just track through its state, which is nice because everything is going to evolve over time. But we're going to do the same for LFO2. So we go to LFO2 here, and you'll see that is on poly trigger mode for filter 1. So we're going to go to global, and now set it slightly quicker. Now as I play, so that's nice. So one layer, 2 oscillators, a bit of modulation, and some of the modulators been worked as well to create that sound. Let's see what we could do. Let's go to our effects now. So we'll open our effects. I guess definitely some chorus for the start off. So it's starting to sound like a little bit like an electric piano. Let's hold and pick some reverb, because let's make the size big. Let's make the modulation amount deep for the reverb. Let's make the distance and the time big. Okay, don't really need to do anything more to that. Maybe a little bit of distortion on the filter, on filter 2, I think. That's nice. Here's the key part now. We need to save our patch. So we hit save up here. Save preset as. And then where it says bank, it says bank empty. Tap on that and you can choose your bank. So I'm going to choose mine, TSTR. Then I'm going to choose close that. And I'm going to choose preset name. And I'll call this moving EP. Just because that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like an electric piano. And then let's go save now. So save, and now our moving EP is saved along with all our other patches in our folder. So okay, so you might think maybe that is a bit quiet. Now we can actually very easily just do this and then go to save, and then just go save preset, and it'll just say, yeah, we can overwrite this and our okay. So let us now create an initialized patch, and let's do a little bit more with, because we have time, let's do some more with the modulators, the phase modulation and the FM. So new preset here. We want to be going to routing, of course, as we really want to see. Now for this one, I'll just leave it in series the way it starts off. We have one oscillator. We are going to use modulator 1 as FM, and oscillator 1 we can choose any waveform we like. Let us choose a sine wave. Modulator 1, we can leave that on a sine wave as well, just as what happens when we're on FM. Source is none. Frequency we can worry about in a sec. Here we choose in FM, and here we shall choose modulator 1. Okay, and again for oscillator 1, what we'll do is, you'll see there's a little option here, there's multiply and add. I'm going to put add, and I'm going to go this, and I'm going to add modulation 2. I think I'm going to add modulation 2 to modulation 1. Now this starts to get very complicated very quickly, as you can see from the routing diagram. Don't worry, I'm not trying to, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just messing around, but this is the point, is just mess around, you know. This is where you're assigning your modulation routings for modulator 1. At the moment, modulator 1 and modulator 2. So modulator 1 is on FM. Modulator 2 is on phase modulation. Let's put that on FM as well. So let's see what happens now. We know that to get any modulation to work, we need to start adjusting pitch and offset. And we both know that both of these are going to affect oscillator 1. So let's go to modulator 1. Let's go to modulator 2. Cool. It's all in, but it's all in sine waves, right? I felt we messed with the phase a little bit on this. We can mess with the phase on this one. But you're not going to hear a lot of difference. Let's go to modulator 2 and let's change the frequency. Let's go to modulator 1. Let's change the frequency of that. Let's change the oscillator 1 here to addition, but modulator 1 and 2. Oh, let's do modulator. Let's times modulator 1 and 2. No, let's leave it. No, what am I? No, I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm going to leave it like that. So we're just messing around now, right? Let's change the phase. See if it makes any difference. Not really. Source now is modulator. Let's modulator 3 as the source. And oscillator 2 we can bring in with modulator 3. So we're getting into the realms of effects now, I guess. Modulator 3, let's try semitones. But we're going to make a drone. Just for fun. Let's see. But you see how difficult it's getting a bit bonkers now. Oscillator 2, we're going to this time multiply it with 3 and 4. We're droning good now. But just on one layer as well, just 2 oscillators. Everything is on a sine wave. Where it's going to start to get bonkers is when we now change the waveforms. So all our modulators are using sine waves to modulate oscillators 1 and 2 in various different ways that you can see here. We've got no effects and we've got no filtering. Let's turn the filters on, shall we? Very cool. So let's just see what happens. I'm going to change the filter type on this to a virtual analog. I really like the virtual analog filters in SynthMaster. Got to be careful of the volume. So now let's switch on our arpeggiator. Let's get it to. Oh, actually, let's not. Let's go to effects first. Let's apply tons of reverb. with lots of modulation and a lot of time. Okay, so let's look at some of these modulators and see what. Let's change the. Oh yes. Crashed on me. Get it back, look. I want to. Must be freaking it out because I've got my hands on it. Right, so I'm going to just go to oscillator 2. And I'm going to use LFO1 to modulate the pitch. So I'm just going to grab hold of it like this and drop it onto the pitch. I'm going to slow it down now. But we can also change the type here, so we could maybe go with a modulated complex type of waveform for the LFO. Oh, let's go to oscillator 1 now. Oh yeah. Oh, this is getting nice. Go to LFO2. Get it to do that. Oh, listen. Let's increase it. Mount. Let's save this as. Let's just go save preset as. Ultra drone, not to be confused with the Steve Vai album Ultra Zone. So save, there we go. Epic. Quite a complex routing system with the modulators, but you've got a really cool drone. You could actually play it, I guess. I like it as a drone. Now, let's see what other effects we could slap in there. We've only got a reverb in there. Let's see what we could do with maybe we've got a... Oh, an ensemble might be nice. Oh, yeah. Oh. That's cool. Save. Don't want to lose the patch. If you're enjoying the video, folks, please strike the like, subscribe to the channel, consider becoming a patron. Oh, and tomorrow night's live stream we'll be taking a look at we are taking a look at a desktop app called Noises. This has just been released by Heimbach and Audio Thing, and it's just awesome. Well, I like it because it's experimental, so I like experimental stuff. Lots and lots and lots. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe got a few ideas. I know things videos like this don't really appeal to loads of people because, you know, but you can see that it's really easy to create some nice stuff. Even if you don't know what you're doing, you can just run with the routing and just play around with all this. I mean, look as well. Also, you can modulate the modulators with modulators. So look, modulator 2 we could set to be modulated by modulator 1, and see how that's changed it already in wild ways. I just think it's blinking awesome. I do. I think SynthMaster 2's just like got superpowers. Superpowers, I tell you. But yeah, awesome stuff. Great. Anyway, we've got some mad modulation routing, mad routings going on there. And still was in, if we run it in split mode or parallel or series, you'll get different vibes as well because of the way they're going routed through the filters and stuff. Guys, I'll play a couple of, so I'll just save that again. Yes, and I'll let you go. I'll let you say ta-ra to each other for a few minutes, and I will see you all tomorrow where we take a look at Heimbach's Noises. Which is just literally just awesome. Although it is a desktop app, it is brilliant. I'm going to play a few patches from my my presets so far, and I will hopefully see you all later. Ta-da! Thank you very much for joining me this evening, where we had a blast with making some nice noises and some strange noises using frequency modulation and phase modulation with SynthMaster 2 using the modulators along the top, which are like other oscillators.